What's up guys, Match the Gamer here. If you like the video and the contents within it, please hit that subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. Now with that said, let's get on to the video. What's up guys, Match the Gamer here, and today's video, among many other videos that are probably have been uploaded today because I've been so far behind on everything, is essentially going to be talking about continuity with Super. And I'm going to make a video explaining why continuity is important amongst the series and misconceptions people have about Canon and Canon Nazis, as it were. But that's a video for later, possibly all in the same day. But anyways, so the reason I'm doing a video on this is because people seem to be wondering which is the correct canon between the Super anime and the Super manga. Let me be clear in advance, though, that I enjoy both immensely, and I have nothing against either. I enjoy Toyotaro's work with the manga, just as I enjoy Toei's work with the anime. Okay? Yes, Toei made a few animation errors, or, well, technically the studios, they licensed out the animation stuff too, but that's a story for another day. So anyways, which is canon? The Super anime or the Super manga? Which one is interpreting Toriyama's manuscript, if you will, more correctly? Is it Toyotaro or is it Toei? Well, first of all, let's establish why this is important to discuss, because you figure it's pretty obvious when it's not. Okay, so the reason people want this answered or explained, not necessarily for me, but just explained in general, is because of the latest Dragon Ball Super manga chapter. Spoiler alerts ahead if you have not read it, and spoiler alerts ahead if you have not seen the Dragon Ball Super Anime Universe 6 arc. If you haven't, go back and watch that, and go back and read the latest manga chapter, then come back here. So if you're still here and want to watch the video and listen, great. Okay, so in the latest Super manga chapter, Goku is fighting Hit. Or rather, let me back it up a little bit. Goku hasn't quite got in there yet. So it's still Vegeta's turn. He just beat Kabe, and then he goes to take on Hit. He transforms into a Super Saiyan Blue at some point during the fight and gets his butt handed to him quite easily. Sound familiar at this point still with the anime, right? Okay, let's go forward. So it's Goku's turn since since Vegeta got beat by Hit. Goku goes to fight Hit in Super Saiyan 1, okay? No problems there so far, right? Except, you know, there's obviously a difference there between the anime and stuff, but nothing too significant to make you, what the hell. So, then Goku powers up out of nowhere and it changes into, not Super Saiyan Blue, but Super Saiyan God, the red hair form. So now at this point, you're probably like, wait, what the heck? That doesn't make sense. Super Saiyan God? He hasn't changed into that before, since fighting Beerus way back. And you're right about that, but I'll explain things a bit later. Anyways, so the fight goes on for a little bit, and then they talk about, like, Goku's doing this to conserve energy, and then he goes Super Saiyan Blue, and then eventually, you know, much like in the anime, he sort of drops out of the fight because, you know, of crap that's going on. I'm not going to go elaborate anymore on the manga. If you want to know what else happens in the manga, go read the chapter again if you haven't already. So, in the anime now, to explain the differences, Vegeta goes, of course, to fight Kabe, and this is all, now I'm talking about the anime again, bear in mind. And, of course, towards the end of the fight, he turns into a Super Saiyan Blue, beats Kabe quite easily, no problem, obviously. Then he goes to take on Hit. Hit, and Vegeta have a little bit of a fight, but Vegeta ultimately is unable to actually beat Hit, and Hit takes the win. Goku gets to come in there. Goku, instead of changing Super Saiyan Blue off the bat like Vegeta did, chooses to stay in base form to figure out how to counter Hit's ability, the time skip ability. And ultimately, Goku then goes Super Saiyan Blue, and he figured out how to counter it properly, but Hit ultimately gets the upper hand by powering up, using a similar idea to, instead of change his form, transform his ability, if that makes sense. His ability gradually powers up in a fight. So then Goku says, alright, and then he multiplies Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken times 10, then takes the win. Well, doesn't take the win, but looks like he was going to win, and then, of course, in the end drops out of the ring. Intentionally, lucky. Anyways, so, now we discussed the differences here for the moments I described. Which one's the correct canon? Well, first, let's elaborate on some things. Shinron pointed out whenever, and we're going back to Battle of Gods, both the movie and anime arts, Shinron is explaining the Super Saiyan God to Goku and everybody, explaining that there was a Super Saiyan God long ago, his power ran out, etc. He also goes on to explain that it is a form that can only temporarily exist in this realm, then it goes away. And then he explains how you bring it in, but it does go away. Get this? So, keyword there, it is a temporary form that can only exist in this realm for a brief period of time. So, after that, we go to the fight with Beerus. The form wears off. Goku goes Super Saiyan and continues the fight. He obviously got powered up. So you may be saying, okay, what does that have to do with anything? This is Toriyama's clever way of telling us things. Clearly, Goku absorbed the power of Super Saiyan God in his base form, but hadn't quite got a grasp on it. He goes Super Saiyan to even odds. He absorbed the power into his being. His base form is now Super Saiyan God, and he just used Super Saiyan to give him a little bit more of an edge, but it still wasn't enough to beat Beerus. Not to mention, Beerus was intentionally holding back anyways. He never really went full force. So, let's go forward a little bit more. Let's go now to Resurrection F. In Resurrection F, we are introduced, both in the movie and in the anime, to Goku and Vegeta attaining a new form. Super Saiyan Blue, or at the time as we knew it, whenever the movie was out, Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. Which I personally prefer that name. You may prefer Super Saiyan Blue. Up to you. That's fine. Not arguing that. Anyways, so, in that, Goku and Vegeta fight Frieza, and they point out to Frieza, quote, that he came too soon seeking revenge and hadn't taken the time to master his new form. Which is true. That's why he lost, because he hadn't quite had enough time to master it. Vegeta and Goku, of course, ultimately outlasted Frieza and beat him. Okay, that's excellent, right? Right, okay, good. You see where I'm going with this, okay? There's some major irony there and messed up things. So, let's continue. So, now we're getting into the anime stuff, because obviously they never had the Universe 6 arc in movie form. So, from here on, it's all anime and manga related stuff. So, Goku and Vegeta's training continues with Whis, and of course they announced a tournament. Now, going back to the tournament with Vegeta, they said Vegeta lost 1/10 of his power from changing into Super Saiyan Blue against Kabe, which is why he lost the hit so easily. As to where Goku lasted longer because he used Super Saiyan God first, then used Super Saiyan Blue, which didn't burn off any energy since he never changed into it to begin with in any previous fight. Okay, now here's the key thing. In both not only the manga, and the anime as well, Goku and Vegeta trained for 3 years in the hyperbolic time chamber, or the equivalent of 3 years anyways, while staying in there. Okay? Even if you want to argue that they hadn't quite mastered Super Saiyan Blue when fighting Golden Frieza, 3 years of time is more than enough to master the form to where you can easily not only change into it, but maintain it no problem. Granted, they probably didn't stay in the form the entire time they were there, but that's a long time to be using that form. 3 years. It took Goku a year after defeating Frieza to master changing into a Super Saiyan using much less stress on his body. And it took him an additional year, 2 years mind you, to master Super Saiyan to where it felt like a natural state, as seen in the, let me see, what's it called, the Cell Saga. Maybe technically 2 years if you want to say he truly mastered Super Saiyan, and maybe a week with the fact that he let Goku and them have a week to train and be ready for the Cell games. So you see where I'm going with this. It doesn't make sense that they didn't have quite mastered changing into it using less energy. He's even mastered Super Saiyan 3 to where it takes much less time to change into, as seen in his latest fight against Future Trunks, where he literally only restrains for at most say 10 seconds at that, and there he's in Super Saiyan 3. As to where back during the Majin Buu arc, first time he uses it, he screams for practically most of the episode. Granted, in the manga, you could say it probably didn't take that long, but going off the anime, it took him a minute, but he finally got it. Goku hadn't quite mastered it, so we can see that over time, if given enough time, they can not necessarily master the form, but use it to where it doesn't take quite as much energy to change into it. Super Saiyan 2 or 3 are just upgraded versions of original Super Saiyan, as said by Toriyama. Don't blame me, look up the interview. Okay? And while they haven't quite they haven't quite mastered those forms, or rather, it's not that they haven't mastered them, it's just that those forms put so much stress on the body, there's no way to truly master them. They've lowered the amount of energy probably it takes to change into them, and even possibly made it to where they can last longer in a form, but ultimately it's going to put a lot of stress on our body. Super Saiyan's truly the only form that they've mastered to where it feels like a natural state, like their base form. Super Saiyan Blue is using Super Saiyan with God Ki, and it gives a much higher multiplier than regular Super Saiyan or even Super Saiyan 3. It's way stronger even in its current state. So, wholeheartedly, I believe that the anime is following more correctly to what Toriyama has stated, especially since Goku shouldn't be able to change into Super Saiyan God at all, because it's a temporary form. A state that can only exist in a realm temporarily, and Goku showed no signs of it fading in that fight, so even if you want to argue, well, oh, he can't maintain the form for long, no, he clearly was using that because it doesn't use hardly any stamina. You see where I'm going with this? So, anyways, the manga chapters cause a lot of confusion in the community. Even some of the much bigger Dragon Ball YouTubers and myself are confused by this, and even called it stupid, quite frankly. And to simply quote one of them, whenever it comes to who's interpreting it more correctly with one guy or a team of people discussing it, I'm going to go with the team of people that are more thoroughly discussing it versus one guy. Yes, granted, Toriyama doesn't have the time to go down to Toei Animation and review every single freaking thing that they're going to put in the anime, and you could argue that he has a little bit more time to sit there with Toyotaro and review one chapter that is at most 15 pages long, but even then, Toriyama may not necessarily review it 100%, he may just sit there and look at it and go, yeah, this is good, just sort of like he does with Toei, and he probably spends most of his time writing the scripts and stuff, because they're putting out the anime every single week. Toyotaro's got a whole month to work on a manga, and Toriyama's got to keep writing and make sure he has everything ready for the following week. Granted, he's probably got a lot of this stuff written out in advance, but he's got to keep writing in order to stay ahead and make sure that they don't catch up to what he's already written. He's got to keep writing stuff and making sure it's all up to date. So, again, whenever it comes to who's got a better chance of interpreting this correctly, I'm going to go with Toei. And Toei seems to be doing their job of following up with Toriyama and asking him things and doing stuff. As to where Toyotaro, we haven't really seen him say, oh, I go to Toriyama every day and ask him things. So, you see what I'm saying at this point. Now, again, if you prefer the manga over the anime, that's fine. Okay? No, I'm not arguing that with you. Okay, I enjoy both immensely myself. I read the manga as often as I can and watch the anime every week. I watch it the second it premieres in Japan in Japanese with no subs. And I do watch it again later with subtitles whenever it's subbed by the subber I consider to be the best of the ones that sub it, in my personal opinion. And I'm not discussing whom I think is the best in regards to that. So this video went on a little bit longer than I thought, but essentially my point is that it makes no daggum sense for Super Saiyan Blue to drain that much energy to change into it, and then after you change out of it, suddenly you change back into it, and it drains too much energy just to change back into it. That makes no daggum sense. Especially after training in the hyperbolic time chamber for the equivalent of 3 years, it really makes no sense that it would do that to him. By that logic, Goku shouldn't have been able to be even base form, or not base form Frieza, but previous final form Frieza after Whis rewinded time. It should have drained his energy immensely to the point where he couldn't do it. Because clearly, Frieza got a lot stronger thanks to obtaining a golden form. But I digress at this point. But I want to thank y'all for watching. Make sure to like, rate, comment, subscribe. And again, on that whole commenting thing, comment down below telling me what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you want to elaborate on some more things that maybe I missed? Or perhaps you want to discuss with me on some of the things I talked about, which is perfectly fine. I'm more than willing to talk with you about these things, but let's be courteous between one another and, you know, things of the sort, okay? So, yeah, peace, guys.
Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z/Kai, Dragon Ball GT, and Dragon Ball Super are all owned by Fuji TV, Toei Animation, Funimation, and Akira Toriyama. I do not claim to own any of these. The video and any images that appear were used under fair use.